Oh. Je peux avoir le micro aussi? Lama tumpa chum dende deshin shepa cha chumpa yanda pa tsope sangye ripada shasu dempa devara shepa chiten kepa keboduwe kala gyowa lana mepa ladami nam kitumpa sangye chondende pelgyawa shakyantupa chaselo chudu kyapsu chivo lama tumpa chondende deshin shepa chachumpa yanda patsope sangye ripada shasu depa deva shepa chiten kepa kyedo bwe kalo gyawa lana mepa ladami nam kitumpa sangye chomdende pel gyawa shakyantupa chatselo chudu kyapsu chivo lama tumpa chomdende deshin shepa chachompa yanda patsope sangye ripada shasu depa deva shepa chiten kepa keboduwe kalo gyawa lana mepa ladami nam kitumpa sangye chomdene pelgyawa shakyantupa chanselo chudu kyapsu chivo kanse kanyi tsovo kyutantanche sachen ila gompa dumpone nani chiten dina choche sun tetse kepa chela chaselo namda konga choto susawa yeshe gyatso segi lumpoja chapa chiten suna lamewa Gampo chonye chela chaselo chencho tempa chime dawe shel sendo chawa chela chaselo tuje kyoja sipa sumachi nyame cheche chela chaselo Gampo tuche chendempa tanche kempa tumpapo sunam yenten gyatso shing deshin shela chaselo tape tucha chawagyur keveng eson lejo shing chito tandan chogyurpa shigyur chala chaselo Chane choe lam yantun lapa tala raptune shiye tampa yentende kedun ayan chaselo sangye chola chaselo kyapa chola chaselo gedun chola chaselo sola tadu kuchasel chachaya patam chela shindun kunye chanyeki luto kai nam kunte choto tepa chaselo depa cheya chiyane shing kewa punsun sopache Rangye semne yonsudu tene sangye tempain karmarare marmedam kyuma sepa chupurdam milalodan chintabur tuche chanan din je sipai kopan tone kyangi jatute kada nada chiwe la chupe sipe tsola drawa sho. The Heart Sutra we will do in English. The Heart of the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time. The Bhagavan was dwelling on Maharaj's mountain in Rajagriha together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perception. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya Avalokiteshvara. How should any son of the lineage train who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Sharadvatiputra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom, should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form, form also is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. No eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration, commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that. It is like that one should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadvatiputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya Avalokiteshvara, and those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. I prostrate to the gathering of the Dakinis in the three chakras who abide. I prostrate to the gathering of Dakinis in the three chakras who abide in the holy yoga of using space. By your powers of clairvoyance and magical emanation, look after practitioners like a mother her child. Aka samaracha shadara samaraya pe aka samaracha shadara samaraya pe aka samaracha. Aka samaracha shadara samaraya pe tayata om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhisoha. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing the power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed. May they be dispelled. May they be pacified. Shintim kuruye swaha. May all negative forces opposed to Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and harmful conditions to Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma. And may there be auspiciousness and perfect happiness here, right now. No gyawa kyapta toche chan chempoda nova yeme chipa yonso tempe ngadan dengi letu tsene Khandro Tseringma Rinpoche Persam Pershe Ngane Tepa Chempa Suncho Samo Lepa Shuve Yuntu Shinkamo Vashu Om Vasha Bhumia O Vanchen Seri Sashi Om Vashare Kea Chi Shari Koryogi Korve Yosu Rigya Porira Shalu Papo Lo Sambuli Nu Parancha Chan Jaminyen Ludan Lupa Nayap Dan Nayap Shen Yodan Dan Lan Cho Cho Jamin Yen Dan Jamin Yen Ida Rinpoche Ribo Pa Sangi Shing Daya Yoba Mano Pa Iloto Kolo Rinpoche Norbo Rinpoche Sumo Rinpoche, Lampo Rinpoche, Lampo Rinpoche, Tacho Rinpoche, Mapo Rinpoche, Techempa Yampompa, Geama Chewama Luma Garma, Metoma Dupoma Nansalma Jinchama Niyama Dava Rinpoche Do Cholanam Pagya Vegyasen Osoladami Pelchor Punsom Tsapama Tsavame Sanshin Ido Wadi Dakshin Chen Tsavadang Yor Chepe Pelden Lama Dam Panam Dan Keparduya Yonso Tempang Oda Tungi Letu Tsenemo Khandro Tseringma Rinpoche Pelsa Pershengane Tepa Chempa Suncho Somo Pashuve yondo shinkamo vagyo doce jove dondo ce soso shene kyanda socho var margyo nam keta danyam pe sanchen tanchella toce va chempe gane chingi lapto so Shipaki Choshin Me nemen ze wegklomen. Ojam Riram Ling Shinide Tiempani Sanye Shingno Mikte Wargi Trokon Namda Shila Lama Tampa Kena Kichakukala Kienze Chutinchik Chita Tampe Duchetin Mala Sakecharpa Salidam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami.
Kangi tuzen ye zonwe dawa tam je pangwe je tambe chune dun zenbe kwa tam de la cha ze lo. Tu nye nye je zong don juwe la che che sen ze khan je ten rung gun cha nam pe mo tin zin cha zo so wan de so tu yi me shu. Mananga da nyam be sem je tam je dong ai je de ni ten ten te zo bu san je ji kong bo rum bo je to be je tambe je zang bon de nyam su lo wan chao. Lasso Rashitele Samalo
Hi
Adeni
everyone.
Diri Susila Ani Jabji Doji Shang Sobarambuchi Chogi Ani Ta Ngaso Zambuling Tinala Dini Ngane Dembata Droala Ani Kongi Zeche Zachembo Chinjila Yanju Dene FMD gi Ta Nangbi Tsokwa Di nani tirin kapsa paba, ani susila da rinpoche yi chozo sumgi kotik che ne tirin tsoga di nala ko namba tso yi tindi tsa chenpo zi chi sha tsamalo la garin che yugi.
So I'd like to say hello to our friends here in Switzerland. So the Gyaltsen Sopa Rinpoche, who is a great to this world and who has brought and benefit this world with his enlightened activities and blessings, that I'm able to be here. So with the 3 PMT centers here, they organized this gathering for us to be here. And it's an honor for me to be here.
제 넘버 저 생기도게 되니 야
Can,
숭 깨줄 텐데 될라 지겨래 좋아 콩
can
간제야
you can you hear us all right? And then the translators?
세나 되는 가디 가르쳐고 차 장르나 대양
If you can
생기면도나 되는 양콩 지에 친구와 콩 대지겨 대직가 직직 제루시 건다
so if you can hear me, please raise your hand here. And if you cannot, please tell this person here he could do something about the technical part.
다들 오케이 that's all 아니 마호니 저 자주 자라나 맞다 패시 찍지나 인지 대가나 인지를 봐 맞아 이제 드림 깨줄 때 식도
Today we have some difficulties with the translators.
라소 데니 다 항달 잡지 서버 뭐지지 아니 최소 자침보 르무치 당가서 발갑 가서 상마 개주 아니지 파마시위 부나지 닭갈리 침부지 가서 상마로와 티유레 아니 당가서 sem밤제 이묵제네 되잖아 펜토야스 기요 말에 대송자 아니 잡지 저버무지 랑기 가서라 오늘 타르와타 탐지신비지 공방 되ян주기 당가디 아니 가서 냠슬랭 거바리 자베 가서 셈진 추르 미기 니즈가네 되네 지다 라마 넘버즈 아니 시과레 쳔바레 아니 지 카르조로다 공바 조바레 슬라닝 타니지 자주 여대바지리 이나양 다 라마 삼지 메차바 찬주기 셈 카르조로 찬주 셈바 삼지 메차바지 리 코네 데니 가서 오늘 전에 공기 로마 주대니 저희 오늘 이나다 라마 도지상 공을 다 고나지 백 오늘 전에 가르쳐고로다 직수수초라 깔래카고로와 대상 안에 라마라 아니지 국겐드 송 탐주 안 툭추고라 아니 딘디 식도야당 메도야당 라야데 가서 셈지 추브르 미기니 수 잠즈레마도 콩라 대롱세 요 말에 가서 산지 무수지 따니 따툼니 되니 군조숨 무수 되니 카르초로 다지 뭐네 전에 뭐시니 지나 아니 잡르바 메비 군조숨이 따니 되라 되니 카르초로 지 공바조로에 딘제 메바 송장 되니 가서 뒤다 넘버 군도 침발라나 메바 numbalana meba zevalana meba 슬라야디 다 라메지 라마 짜침부 지 체니 데레 데라 마주 뒤다 넘버 꾼돌라 유여바난다 시여바이난다 데네 대바다 탐지 요아 메비 토네 최냠레 제바이나 데네 가서 질랍 응수 유바 나지지 질랍 톱주 요바레
And so now Sobaramchi has passed into nirvana. And as students here, we're like children who have lost our parents. However, it won't be helpful if we only go about our days with a lot of sadness. And so when we talk about a Lama's passing away, we might say he passed away or he passed into nirvana. But no matter what, Sobaramati is an incredible bodhisattva. and he is a real Vidyadhara. And so to us, he is a Lama with enlightened body, speech, and mind. And he has benefited immense sentient beings. And to us, he is like a Buddha, a real Buddha. And so if we truly understand the meaning of three jewels, then we know that the three jewels can really save us, no matter whether he is with us in person or not. His spirit, his blessings is always with us. A Lama is somebody with the three powers, that is the unsurpassable love, the unsurpassable knowledge or omniscience, and the unsurpassable capabilities, no matter he's with us in person or not. And that if we continue with our respect and faith in him, then we'll continue to receive his blessings.
계산다 공개 가드나 때네 아주 참마게 공개 개두기 하고리와 아주 참마미로미시 되네 뒤다나마 꾼도 안에 라메지 안에 소소야 롱이 깔라이나 아니 고미가나 지올라콤 아니 자동치비 깔라 젬발라콤 아니 도위깔라 아니 차치게 되네 아니 대체 예비깔라 아니 닝갈라콤 제야데 개침보래
About his kindness to us. And so we should always think of his kindness, be it when we're in our meditation or in our daily life, when we have food or when we put on clothing, when we go about our lives, or even when we go to sleep. We should always remind ourselves of his kindness.
되니 가서 다 임바데 가서 ngö들 제지 룩스여리시 삼삼 콘조 제군도 라올라기도 아니 나랑 ngö들 라오지 제바이나 다 망치아 이페제 챙겨지래 아니가 룽바 미토베 베베 범모 중중직 이
Second part is about the introduction of oneself. So as many of you might have known, I am a little Tibet woman. I'm somebody who's lost her country. I'm from Tibet.
데닝에 라마 도지상 자와이지 노부 데닝 가서 잠블링 젠로 데라 아니 탑키 투시 쳔다 데비 산제 남지 자섭 마옹바 산제 남지 중공 단다 산제 남지 자섭 라에 나진다 가서 다지 오늘 전에 뒤숨 데라 아니 데나진지 산제 쳔카고 시라레
My Lama is His Holiness, and he himself is a Lama who embodies the Buddha of three times, of the past and present and future. And it's very precious and difficult to come by someone like him.
아니 마음발안 된다고지 쳔카고레 단다바이나 잠블링 디나라 아니 지고네 자네다 년자 체베 제당이지 셈진지 년자 체베 아니 잠블링 시대 대변 저르지 임바이나 아니 신이 망보여레데 아니 라마 도지 샹데 제야 데라양 티모 마임바이에 안수수 이게 카르조르 다지 링당 체베 참니지 찬주셈 코나게 아니 생다디지 토바레 대송장 당가서 잠블링 디나라 오늘 전에 지 다 시럽 표도 좋아 닝지 표도 좋아 콜라 디딩라 아니 다 자첨보지 봐 가서 참말로라 동해 만들어 대반되니 참말로라니 준 텀년다 자비 아니 되지 지 진년 저바다 소원 저지 차대 인자 아니 디잉안에다 아 가서 가지고로 다 줄룩릭스 마치바 자베 아니 라마 자침보 뭐뭐 예베 너네다 소소 자베 라마 도지창 자바이지노부 되니 잡지 서버무지 데다세 에이 디기 토네 가랑이 마최 저다 시야이나 코넘바지 진질라비지 뒤지 다우지 마도 가랑네 타카기 시트비아다 준데야스케 마마레
Oh, His Holiness is a precious Lama that in the future it will be very difficult to come by. Even at this present time, when there are lots of famous lamas with big reputations in this era, however, His Holiness is really somebody who has embodied bodhicitta and the ultimate wisdom himself, and then striving at his best for the sake of all sentient beings. And that we all want happiness and we don't want suffering. And our precious lamas, like His Holiness and Soba Rinpoche, with their exceptional supreme wisdom and supreme compassion, they can really construct the foundation of such for all sentient beings. And then so for me, all the dharma that I know is because of their kindness, because of their blessings. There's nothing that I have that is coming from myself, but everything I have and that I know is because of their blessings and kindness.
되니 이 민소라들이 다 드라마 보시고 롱바자 민카디샤
Maybe in different places I'm known by different names.
나라 가르치고 그러다 칸로 끈가 뭐마 라야디 아니게 다지 제와 ngame 다디 양시 비케셔리 nge jewa ndo de yangsi la bai nanda yangja jewa len lo inda ondi tende sire ani kandu tseringma la ya de ani kari juguru da di da la ina ji na di ji la pe ya ji ni sunga ne tende sire cheza de de konzo kashi tom yosare mambuji cikbare da nganda mi kashi gurumala kashi jamigi kongshimala Then that Dramandadu in a young Tindisri so the Khandro Tseringma and Khandro Kungamba Malaya the Chigwais, Jui.
And so the sort of two popular names that I'm known by people is Khandro Konga Puma. And this name has to do with reincarnations. It's the reincarnations of somebody. And then the name of Khandro Tseringma, there's another name that I'm known to the world, is Khandro Tseringma. And this name is related to the oracle situation that some of you know. And so I have very many names, and then that confuses people. People might, think that they are different, but actually they're the same. They're all me. And some people call me just by Guru. Some Chinese people call me by Kongxi. No matter what, these are all the sort of names shared by. This is all my names and how I'm known to the world.
Ta dirin kapsa paba nga su ruru che kwa tuande, ane ta tangbo semyawo ziche, ane jawa seda jeba, dula ya gom, an su su tuida namba kudu kadu ina, nga su jawa kanritsi chewa ina, ane jawa di zachimbo yungya che dola, dribu yakbo yungya che dola, tini nga su iye gulwa nambara tabazik che kogu yere, an su su lega che chung karatsi ina, 추에게 민 따로 마다로 소소기 동해 만들어 대반되비 니중간에 아주 자화지 내가 가르치와 있나 아니 타입이 semjen 탐제라 아니 펜바다 대배 용이 체돌라 안기기 아니 내가 지금 지금 아는 게 최책이 아는 게 검책이 안에 나장이 야만anga 내가 지 가라 지나 내게 나랑 찍고 마임바 네 다른 자와디 레바 토지 된다 된바 참말로 아니 타입이 심지한 탐지 랑나지 동에 만들어봐 대반되어봐 랑기 고고 용수 줘봐 아니 심지한 탐지지 까지 인자 되니 심지한 탐지 산진지 공부를 무지 토비 치더라 아니 게 다른 자와지 되는 그런 넘버 타버지 나로나 갑수파베 드링 줘있는 안 가서 줘요 돌링체 스콘바지로나
So, first of all, let's generate pure motivation. And this is the purpose of our gathering here, that no matter what we do, as long as we wish for a good result, good outcome to come, we need to generate pure motivation. And with the pure motivation, carry that motivation into any action that we do, name or what. We all want happiness and we don't want suffering. And so please think this way, for the sake of all sentient beings' happiness, I'm engaging in the activities that I'm engaging, practicing dharma, or meditation, or chanting mantras. I'm doing this only for myself, and I'm making this all meaningful. So all sentient beings are just like me, who don't want suffering, want happiness, and that all my necessities, all my needs come from all sentient beings, and therefore, for the sake of all sentient beings to attain enlightenment, here to I'm going to generate pure motivation, and then to engage myself into the following session.
아니 까망가 공부제쇼아
So please think about this for 5 minutes.
라서 데네 디바지야 마시지 개와 푸숨소 랑기 셈네 용수디 데네 사니 템바이 송난도아
And so, as it is said, do not engage in any bit of misdeeds, and then engage in all virtuous deeds. And for as long as one tames one's own mind, and that's the teaching of Buddha.
땅아서 드링 조샤데야 잔죽이 셈다 돈이 따웨 꼴라레 송도 자첨보 진조샤레샤 가서 깨와상부 시라레
And so the content today that we're going to discuss here is about bodhicitta and emptiness. We are extremely fortunate to be able to gather here to talk about this.
다 딕바지야 미체 라야지 측대 베데 가서 자첨보 데니 셈기 니수지기 인자네 딕바 라야 딕 라야 디지 가서 동해체야 셈 마튜바 엔트라 마시바 아니 가서 깡인 데니지 아니 셈지라 세기도와.
So do not engage in any misdeeds has to do with the states of our minds, and it's very vast. So misdeeds uh, uh, has to do with an untamed mind, a mind that gives us sufferings.
딕바 찌야 미차친 랄리 딕바 라야지 로테다 미차친 라네 딕바 라야지데 셈지기 최고 여자네 딕바 체니즈도와.
And so when we say that do not engage in misdeeds, that sort of goes back to the mind. It is the mind that will sort of bring us, the state of mind that would bring us to a state of suffering. That is, an untamed mind would bring us suffering.
딩가조 칠룰라 따야 유사 말에 디 딕바 라야지 셈데 남준드 맞어 되네 셈 아니지 카르토로 셰당 대차 디무 낙셈 뇌셈 록다 차도 라야지 아니 가서 주림직 남준도 가서 배주 제야기 셈즈도와 셈제 남준도 가서 이제 배주 간드 지기도세나 딕바이 셈데 배주 제기도와 강ар 슈슈 대송자 디 딕바이 임바데 ngo시에네 간드 제거 어리세나 남준도 되니 시단라야 아니 차도 낙셈 뇌셈 록다 디기 째네 셈 마지바 셈 주바 다 녀크라 빼 롱바 혼지 맞아 조주 매베지 디니 코르육즈다 조주 매베 링즈레도아.
So when we talk about misdeeds or suffering, this is not something that we only look on the outside. The misdeeds comes back to the mind. A mind, when a mind that is full of anger, jealousy, covetousness, ill will, or wrong views, and then because that is something that will bring us suffering, because we're all sentient beings, and it seems that naturally we will have these negativities or negative emotions. And so these negative emotions will bring us an uncomfortable state of mind, or even depression or unhappiness. And so creating our own suffering, or creating a sort of environment of suffering.
다디 참말로와 짜와라고 찌게 되니 마릭바스 아니 셈 마릭바 라야 되레노아.
And the root of all this is what we called ignorance, the ignorance of the mind, or an ignorant mind.
다 마릭바 라야 디게 주림나라 소소이 ngo시알라 카레치를 마릭바 마릭바 라야 될 고 마릭바 치고 마이보 뭉데와 로 친지로 데와 로 용수 조반 겐도 체데니 데니 마저기 남도 위릭다 만데 체니 자와체 용이 진당응게 숙침부지도와.
And so when we talk about ignorance, we need to know what ignorance is. So ignorance is something that brings us confusion, that brings us wrong view, that brings us discursiveness. And that is what we call ignorance, that we need to know.
최장 가서 릭바이 니츠컬라 깨샤시용도야 시럽이 니츠컬라 뜻에 뛴조지 시럽지자 아시다고라와.
And then so when we talk about awareness or wisdom, we need to know that there's a lot of causes and conditions.
다 마릭바 라나 가서 남준도 배슈 땅에 시럽지도와 디조디 아니 자와치 용니디 마릭바리도와.
And so ignorance is actually something we could call it a wisdom, but this is the kind of wisdom that we sort of usually use in our daily life.
Marikpa se la yongde de marikpa landu chi yu la dewa yina. Dene ngoyu ni tsu matoni. Ko yakpu samdana tipa le lawur zika samdan chodowa. Dene ngoyu ni tsu de nga so gagirowa. Nga so tsuma de gagi mari. Tsuma lana nikab redere. Ane ko tsuma gogo tanya zorada. Ta khanda tsuma yina tempo yo mari. Dene ko nikab ta khanda tata zik marwa. Chezang tempa de dang changbu de ko rangshi gagirowa. Te sonza marikpa laya di tsuma zik. Ngongechi 친질로 대화지. 되니 유 가레나 치유 유제 난기 셈 가레나 코라이지 왜 니츠 마토니지 왜 니츠라 딥데니 로지 딥바 마치 왜 니츠당 겔네 친질로네 트네 아니 삼수다마다 츠드네 양 친질로네 트네 겐도 숙청부지 용대그래.
So ignorance also means when it comes to outer circumstances, that means this. We don't see the reality of any circumstances. And usually when we talk about reality, it has a quality of honesty, straightforwardness. And this is the kind of quality that we like. However, we don't necessarily always see it. And not only that we don't see it, an ignorant mind not only do not see the reality of circumstances or a phenomena, it also obscures the circumstances or reality. And not only it obscures it, it could also go very wrong or completely opposite. And so because it's obscured and wrong, and that is not stable.
록시에당 출시스 아니 덴데즈기 니가네 데네 가수 동에 찡대와다 동에 마음발라 동에 선이 단다 동에 찡대와 안 대바네 동에 중궁 참말로 아니 이제 말이봐 당진 덴버진바 디기토네 용대와데 가서 하고야 돼 신도 개침부 찍래도와.
And so it's very important that we understand the source of our suffering comes from wrong views. And not only that the view, that confusion views or wrong views, that we are bound, we're deeply tied down by these wrong and confusing views, and thus causing grasping grasping at an inherent existence. And this has become the source of our suffering.
다 덴버진 라야 돼. 아니 그 최탐지 덴버 마트발라 덴버진니. 숙도바세. 랑진 줍대바세. 로이 파 유파지 가지고 가서지 로이 뗄소요 반다고. 이 제사지 뗄소요 반다고. 이 제사지 숙도배 반다고지. 덴버진네. 아니지 짐바세도아.
So grasping a phenomena at its inherent existence means that when we grasp or when we perceive the phenomena, we think that the things exist solid as a solid, independent existence from its own side, that as if it has an inherent existence from that very object that we grasp.
유 코랑기 짐바나지 덴바트루바지 요나 테니 주라 메비 아니 고직 요고 차고요와.
And so if the object that we perceive or we grasp is as inherently existent as we thought, as we perceive, then the object would not change.
가시 가서 덴바지바나지 nga 소야디 아니 풍봉아발라 따잠제 nga 줘야지 자고레마도 풍풍하고 따잠데 nga 덴바르 바지 지수와나 이니 텔라데니 젬바지 텔라데니 착바지 차요거로와.
And likewise, we grasp our own aggregates, our five aggregates, our body, as truly existent or having an inherent existence, and therefore developing a lot of attachment and a lot of attachment. Yes.
데니 뭐 니출랑게야라 최탐지네 땡중레도와 땡중이한테 가서 아니 코라 뭐 니출로와 땡진드와 중원디 다 가서기 미기 통야이를 라랭게야이를 초바 다 뭐이 니수지 나랑랑기 가서 랑게 젬버 통야지레 최탐지 땡중이바데.
And so the existence or reality is sort of exists based on a law or in accordance with the law of dependent origination. And this is something that we can actually see with our own naked eyes.
땐 라두 라와메바 땐네 중화요바 최 여대바 야최 메바 마임바 최 동반이레 동반이라르 동바 동장즈를 시기면도와 땐 데니지 최지라 땐 데니지 최지라 라와요 말에 땐바 인자네 여레 여당데 코라 땐네 중실라기도와 라와메바 최 탐지 민장 따유점 라네 동반이 라야디 아니지 난가 동바도 데니지 반난 동바도 딘디케샤미도와 ngaso chakpa jesa yi yuda yujin temba jinsa lo pa cha ni yemba jesa chakpa jesa rangso yi chakpa je na yi temba jimba na yi dendrup ji chue yo mares di tenju yin za ne di mambo zela cheba ta teba ta tembi chungde re ma zo rangi jimba na yi korang ngola drup de ba zi yo mares la ne di shigi dugma do 최탐제네 되니 요 말에 고기 말에 되니 장에 요 말에 시기 요 말에 와.
So the word for dependent origination is denjong. So the word den refers to lacking freedom. That is, given any phenomena cannot exist on its own. And then zhong refers to origin or arising or giving developments. And so because it lacks freedom, because it is not independent on its own, that its existence often relies on imputations. And so, and thus it's empty. But emptiness does not mean nothingness. It doesn't mean nothing, doesn't mean anything doesn't exist. And be it the object or the mind that perceives the object, all of which is the base of our attachment usually. Or how does that become the base of our attachment? It's because we grasp the sort of the mind that perceives the object as something that has an inherent existence. However, because of dependent origination, that causes and conditions encounter and rely on each other or relate to each other, any given phenomena or any given object does not exist the way that we perceive it, especially the way that we perceive it as having an independent existence or having an inherent existence. So emptiness does not mean nothingness.
제장다 템바 druba rangi jimba naji chu korang intela ane rawa 템바 drub de ba zi yona achu semam yu jen karazina 템바 drub de ba suji la ma de ba ane rajin drub de ba zi yona ane juba yo mare 아니 가서 나 거야 요 말이 개 거야 요 말이 시 거야 요 말이 되니 또그 땀숨 참말로 내가 지 거야 요 말이 내가 지 시그 말이 주와메나 아니 제우 미 시그 말이 주와메나 아니 뒤숨 야 시그 말이 간 따라 다 녀가 체주직 차되기도 와 템바 들어 줘야 돼 지야되다 할리비 초진이 뿌이 삼는다고 초진이 셈디 신나서고 배 독자 할레비지 맞sol라다 동에 싸와 존이디 수수 템바 지니디 로데 인장 디시고야 돼 백케치 버려도와 띵가로 줄로 줄네 봐 삼당 와이나 오늘 전에 제와
So, if any given phenomena or any object exists the way or exists as if it has an inherent existence, be it the object or the mind that perceives the object, if it has an inherent existence, then it would not change. We would not change. We would not have birth. We won't be aging. We won't get sick. We won't die. And then we won't even need to work. We don't need to work at anything to get anything. We won't be able to accomplish anything because there won't be any results. There won't even be time, like the 3 times. So perceiving or grasping things at its inherent existence has the biggest trouble. In fact, such thought is the most childish. It's a terrible one, and it's a source of all suffering. And therefore, it is very important we understand how we exist, how we grasp an inherent existence. We need to think about this carefully.
ngaso dendeji lo ngemba dela ngaso shena machewa kareina ngaso longen digi kare chigidu ngaso igi ha mahowa de kareina ngaso tsele machewi jumzen kareina
To such a terrible thoughts, terrible perception, how come we don't think twice about it? How come we're not even afraid of such thoughts? How come we don't ever talk about it? How come we don't debate about it?
temba druba di zimbi tone ngaso la ani ke kare ragdu chong kare ragdu ke chune medowa temba drubi nisu ngani chakpada jemba dechata shedan timu naksem nesim lokta yonsu zokpa lo churba di en dini le yonggidowa di ngani ngaso soba dunge de yonggidowa de songzang chö 탐je ne tin yung bi nisu ngani temba druba meba ta chöbaro di ngaso zeju mashiwa kareina mise nola ngaso 아니 오늘 전에 맞어 콤메 자 니마레 마도 뒤추 춘이 콩고요 말에 가르치고래 맞어 동에 매바지 대화 아니 매선 지고요래 내 인자는 동에 매바지야지 동에게 싸와디 가서 도나 맞이야 그래 동에게 싸와 아니 가서디 덴바 드바 진데야디 짐바데라 가서 도나 맞이야 그래 내가 이제 제 거야지 좀전 가래도 수수술 제가 지나
And so, to this grasping at an intrinsic existence, what are the pros and cons of it? Actually, there are only disadvantages, there are only shortcomings of such. And there, because all the attachments, all the bad things, the anger, attachment, aversion, ignorance, covetousness, ill will, wrong views, and so on, all come from that, the grasping at an inherent existence. And that is what brings all the feelings of suffering. And because all phenomena is in accordance of, or exist in accordance of the law of dependent origination, and therefore it is certain that nothing has an inherent existence. We usually say that, oh, we're very busy, we don't have time, in a week, except Sunday, we don't really have any time. But what is it that we're really doing here? I mean, basically, we're pursuing things that could bring us happiness and then lessening our suffering. But how come we're not paying attention to the root of suffering, and that is the grasping at inherent existence? How come we're not paying attention at the root of such? What are the reasons that we need to pay attention, or we need to understand the grasping or the inherent existence? We need to understand that.
nga zoya de rangjin tsukdu ba zinziya de nga zo kawandu nga zo pamani ji kutra yakwa tsukta da yunga ji rangjin togu tamsum ge ani juzel mambo tsukla ten de ne yungdo wa
We think of ourselves as a solid existence. We should ask ourselves, where is this I that we think that it solidly exists? When this I actually comes from, at first, the sperm and the eggs of our father and mother, and that we are sort of assembled by the four elements, and then that all our food, shelter, and everything, our fame, our reputation, and everything depends on others. So where is the solidity of this I?
세상 nga so ji shirab de nga so ji jing de do wa te song za nga zo ne temba jian zi le yung de na la nga ro lu ko ne ne nga zo ya temba zhu ba tong ya me do cha shi ne nga ma re 아니 또그 초선이 nga 말이 되니 차차모 되서니 nga 말이 아니 봐봐 봤제와 이나 아니 심라 되는 기지 지로이 낭주지리 기지 당보된 nga 지나 기지 닝바데 내가랑 기지 칸도래 nga 칸데도 차시 tum부레레라 nga 지바 이나네 nga 칸데도 심라 코 렘부스 게임에도 차시 창마 뒤체 창모 참이가라 내용도 되나라 왜 늦으가네 nga 전에 독도지 면도가 nga 전 짐베기 나나 nga 소야디 독도지 당보 코라네 따와 nga 줍시 지데 독도 데니 녜라네 독도지 녜 군조 녜 파마 녜 빈자 녜 자캅 녜 전에 nga다 nga이바디 진당디 ngasu shirab jing de wa rang jing ge chu jing yong ge de wa che song zang de chang ma lo jing ma de ba che ne nge zo ne jin sa yu la yin na da jin ye lo yin na da rang jing zhu ba zhe dang chuk tu ba zhe san ne me do wa de ma zhu ba zhe de song zang di nga ne pa zhe gong ba ji ba yin na nga chu sim laya nga laya di meba re medo
And so we're very much bound by this wisdom or thought of inherent existence, starting with our body. So we think that this body solidly exists. It's something very solid. It exists by itself. It's inherently existent. But then if you look into it, you sort of break it down. You look at the thoughts. You look at the food. You look at the clothing. And you keep going, sort of breaking it down to the smallest particles. None of it, you can really find the I, the so-called I. You can't really find any of that in these sort of parts. And that if you look at every part very carefully, you'll find that smallest particle sort of disappears moment by moment. It changes, and disappears momentarily. And then that, so if it changes momentarily, where is the I? However, we still sort of hold on to the notion of I very, very strongly. We even feel uncomfortable when about the thought of no I. So we grasp so strongly, and then so first we have this view of I. This I is so solid, and then it goes on to mine, my God, my parents, my brothers, my country, and so on. And basically, we're just so bound. We grasp onto these I and mine so strongly. And we're also bound by such thoughts. And so, but we need to understand that be it the objects or the mind that perceive the objects, there's no such a thing that inherently existent. And there's nothing that exists independently without relying on any other causes and conditions. And that if we think carefully, the mind and the I, and none of it really exists.
nga meba mareba nga chu chowa je da nga zo de ko yoba de chorbe je da ngoi ni su chire 들어와
Not that the I or the mind does not exist.
다 딜라 데른 가서 딱지 망보 치고도
And so we have to observe very carefully.
nga zo shedang 라야다 아니 차도 라야다 아니 대차 라야다 디즈딜라 nga zo 가기 요 말이
So the anger, aversion, or jealousy, attachment, we don't like these emotions.
딩가 수 줄여 봐. 줄 넣어서.
These emotions are almost like our wealth.
가디나 누가 돼?
Because we're always accumulating them.
나서 샘진라 여 대바디. 가르세나. 시타 람먹고. 대시라 뇨총 제목까지 나서라. 랑치스 여 대바 샘진라. 대차 셰당 디무 낙셈 내셈 록다 차도 심마지와데. 나서 롭존 제요 말에. 수지기 제요 말에. 랑랑기 레잉안에 디두아.
And so we sentient beings, the sort of negative emotions that do not require a teacher, that do not require any money to purchase, that we naturally have, are these negative emotions like aversion, jealousy, attachment, ignorance, even covetousness, ill will, wrong views, and so on. All these negative emotions. We don't need to learn. Somebody doesn't need to give it to us. It just seems that we naturally have it. Well, we have it because we have the karma for it.
ngaso samno tangwa ina di makawa lo de cha shedan zoya de mandwe ba de ngaso jebo logi doe samno tangwa ina 아니 de cha shedan dimulaya de makawa de la 아니 쭈 따고로 와 ngaso 쭈 따기 도에 아니 디기 쭈 딩올라 판로고로 와 주제 메비 de cha shedan 여 말어 와
So if we think carefully, so these negative emotions that we don't want or we don't like, are we changing them for anything else? If we don't want them and if we want to change them with something better, then we need to first think of them as faulty. We need to see the shortcomings of these. And then we need to go down to its causes and conditions that causes them.
실로게 가서 지 레게 남자 되즈데 항아데 가보민도 남사 제벌로야 강바 제벌로야 모타 제벌로야 데바메나 가보메나 제벌로기도 남사 제벌로기도
So for outer materials, for the things that we don't like, such as, for example, if we have a house, we say, okay, I don't like this house and we'll change the house. Or I have a car, I don't like this car, then we'll change the car. We change the things that we don't like immediately.
칼라 토마토나 칼라 제벌로야 제메 초가 아니 심라 마트나 제벌로야
And so And for the food is the same way, even wife and husband. If you don't like them, just change them.
이나양 둘로 마가리 제볼로얀조 되다. 캉바 마가바 제볼로얀조 모자 마가바 제볼로얀조 제메 초가 마가바 제볼로얀조디 사르파 고주두 쳐라 대바 용기도 해. 용기 말해. 따라하래 또게.
And so even for the cause of the clothes that you don't like, or the house, or the car, or even your wife or husband, say you don't like them and you want to change them. Okay, you change them, but when you get a new one, new clothes, house, car, wife, and husband, does happiness come? Actually, not really.
나도 강에 되도 아우 나 검지와 도기 양 가양 삼놈에 맞을 검 아우 나 믹세다 깔레 카송 나 집어민도 자소를 도기 아니 나 이거 도참 도기 나 라만지가 도기 나 집어민도 강에도 설레치기 슬라게도
And then, or sometimes we say, okay, I'm tired, or I feel uncomfortable, I'm suffering, so I need to go on a meditation. But when we go on meditation, we meditate on nothing. Or you might say, I'm tired, I'm not happy, so I'm just gonna go out for a day. I'm gonna go here and there. I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna meet this Lama and that Lama. I'm gonna go relaxing.
네 참말로 네갑 때서 핀바레마도 타만데 양지부지장 셈데 따랑 코용도와 마치바디 셈데 저런 냠돌라 류탄 치마나지 데이르왕아서
And so all of this might help temporarily, the going about temporarily. However, eventually it will not help. All this sort of discomfort that you feel will eventually come back, because this unhappiness is like the smell of your body. They don't separate.
ngalopjong yakbuzichi 데니 까문니 멍부지조 데니 빼샤 멍부지소 데니 냐다 침부지소 데니 소바 낭진 삼바 낭진 종와 인나양 지랑 있음나 대바도에
Or you might think, okay, I'm going to study well, and after that, I'm going to start up companies. I'm going to do a lot of companies. I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to make myself famous. So even if you get all of that, do you get a happy mind? Are you happy?
지랑 롭종 yakbuzichi 지랑 제면다 초가 yakbuzil래 보고 yakbuzichi 빼샤 yakbu지조 슬라바이나 가시 딜람도 종와 이나 지랑라 동에 대화도에 대화 차상와서 지랑 셈라도에 슬라나 여 말에
And so even if you get the sort of the best wife, best partner in the world, you make a lot of money, and all of that do happen. Do you eventually get all the happiness that you need or you want? The answer is no, you won't.
다 가르치고 그래 슬라바이나 가서 수수수수 삼는 놀라 덴즈 그림지 가서 미세 나라 로 고고여래 메시지에 고고여래 레가제 고고여래 디니 다지 가르치고 그러고다 심장진 고고여래 디 참아 그림 나라 강에 매봐 줘라 단다기 그림 디기 나라 따와디 친질로네 로 투르바 데리데도와 다 시럽 야제 땅 날디 칸데스 야제 땅 그래 슬라나 시럽 빼샤 마부지 녀야 요 말에 소니 요 말에 녀니 요 말에 녀야 요 말와 대송자 시럽 라야디 랑게 로 친지 로 데와디 친지 말로 와지 줘봐이나 너희 수 시샤데 너희 수 요와 나지 켈레지네 땡라 팜나 시럽 난가든 난지 가서 쌤데 난가 나지래도 난가 놀라 군접 가리요는 숑그래 난가 이 남야 촉바 제eg 말에 남야 숑그면 또 세게 말해 군접 가리 얘나 난가는 숑기도 가서 쌤데 자체모 줘야 돼 아니 그양보 자체모 라야 돼 자체로 있는 순간에 난가 나지러
And what do we need to do as we go about the stages in life? For example, we go to school and then we work and we start a family. In order that to eradicate or to lessen our suffering, we need to work on our views. And because we go about our life with a wrong view or a confusion, then what we really need to do is to improve or to enhance our wisdom. How? How do we do that? Can we buy it? No, we really can't, because no one is selling it. And so that is to say that to turn our wrong mind, our mistaken into an unmistaken one. And then when we can ascertain our mind into reality, into reality, then we will acquire wisdom. We will acquire a very vast and wide mind, as wide as the sky, because the sky can tolerate everything. So when we talk about an open mind, a wide mind, that is what we refer to.
대선자 아주 시럽 야제당 라야 돼 의니 수지가네 되니 대차 셰당 디묵대조 마치야 셈 디묵대 임바데 하고와친 셈 디묵이 중교여바데 하고 호이 토네 마체바 있는가죠 칠로라 짱짱이 대화제 되나 대화 톱기면 도와 되니 딕바지 미시체 손을 때는 딕빙 어디 참마 하고 데라 빵뒤 로제 딕바 줘야 돼 참마로 강 딕바 라야지 되니 자와드즈디 ngasola 제바디 sorba 동에 기릭디 딕바 임바데 하고바지 sorba 동행기 딕베 릭데아양 교jen라 때네 용데바지 하고바지 sorba 대화 줘야 돼 교jen라 때네 용데바지 대송장 아주 랑지지 따와 디 시럽 퓨드 중앙데라 동반이 라야 돼 시럽 퓨드 중앙지라 송구도 마도 동바 동장지라 송구메도
And so when we talk about enhancing our wisdom, it means to enhance our understanding in reality. The three poisons, aversion, attachment, and ignorance, come from an ignorant mind. It is not something from the outside. And then because we keep having this, we keep having this ignorant mind, then we end up keep grasping onto something on the outside, and we end up pursuing happiness from the outside, and we will never sort of have breakthrough, we'll never have the happiness that way. And so back to the beginning, when we talk about the do not engage with any misdeeds. So why? Because misdeeds is suffering, the feelings of suffering. And for that, we know that sufferings comes from life causes and conditions. Likewise, happiness also comes from a lot of causes and conditions. And then so when we talk about the exceptional or super wisdom, it refers to the view, emptiness, and emptiness does not mean nothingness.
데니 ngaso 셈 라야디 땅 아주 시럽 야제 땅땅레다 셈 라야디 땅 아주 디 셈 여레다 여 말에 깨자 말에 가서 어 가서 참말로 셈당 류니 카텐데도 류디 밀라 로 라기도와 남시데 튼소레 셈암 남시데 튼로니 찍도와 디 상메 켈레 제기로와
And so now let's move on to sort of the way of enhancing wisdom. Now, when it gets to whether we have a mind or not, we all seem to accept that when we die, our body and mind separates, right? I mean, when the mind and body separates, the body turns into a corpse, and the mind or the consciousness goes away, and we do accept that, don't we?
ngaso 파메지 지주이지 니수인저버지 라와이나 파메 쿠라기 니수인가니 파메 쿠란 제바 짬이게 미차게 메도아 코 남시직 양 남시 라야지 슈고야지다 남시직다 제바지 제 예직 삼도 당고야지 뭐 니수이 치릭바이나 뭐 니수이 잭치 가르지나 뭐 니수직 차더와
And so when we talk about the sort of formation of a life of a human being or a being, is that it does not only come from the mixture of the sperm and eggs of our parents. Only the mixture of that does not sort of form a total being, a total life. It has to have another consciousness. So this, even the scientists accept this. This is the reality of it.
제장 가수에 셈디 서로와 대화당 서로와 동행 라야디 아니 셈암 딘데게 가르소르고다 셰바딜라 셈암 강다르 남시암 딜라 다 쫑으중야지레도와 가인세나 로차두 서로바 민도와 디세두 디 갑라 삼노 당바이나 ngachuigi zubu khangba naji zubu je khangba de pheju tang du khangba de ge zambling pheju tang dawr zero ta tiksil ten dem ba dawz chesan zambling khorang junga la ten de chi junga di khanangi junga di chi junga de tini junga ya junga charu chiwa ina tini ngaso 공연 왕시시 중앙대 공다라 아니 이 가르쳐로다 남시 칼라 팀로기도 와
And so we do accept that there is a mind or consciousness, whatever you call it. Because when the mind and the body separates, or when we die, when this body turns into a corpse, we actually lose our feelings and the mind carries on. We have to think about this. And therefore, our body is like a house to our mind or a house to our consciousness. And if we put it on a larger scale, in the whole world, the whole world is a house or a dwelling place for many, many things. And so it is assembled or established by the four elements, outer four elements, inner elements, and then it goes subtler and subtler and subtler. And so likewise in our mind and with our bodies, the same that our consciousness also goes into the cellular and subtler level.
가서 난수 제주 지도되나라 아니기 추브르 메기 다 왕부 락바기 제주 지용도 아니 거지 족자 지로 레캬 디디기 뇽완다 초르바기 니수간 제주 지용도 그 제주 치사 여드더즈다 제주 제네 디기 ngola 코랑 ngola 바 제바이나 제사 연주더즈 도와 이나야 셈이 띵라 셈 코랑 입다 카도 가야 매바 송장 제가고 싫어려 은진 제가고 싫어 예 대바 서로와디 서로와 동에다 서로와 대화라야디 그 셈 랑기 니즈응하니 숙천부지 숙천 떼운 거로 가져라. 영화 쳐봤다 쳐봐 대화다 쳐봐 동행 줘야지. 디 셈이 여비 토니 차그로 와.
And so usually when we check things or we observe things with sort of the coarse faculties. So with outer objects such as form, sound, smell, touch, taste, and so on, it seems that it's very easy for us to acknowledge its existence as if it has a real sort of essence to it because we can see it. However, with the mind, it's very difficult because the mind doesn't have any form, doesn't have any color. So naturally, it's difficult for us to accept it. And then, so usually with the mind, it goes down to the feelings. It is through the feelings that we sort of confirm its existence.
제가 당보 가족이 동해 이직돼서 내가 동해 마보여 내가 동해라 삼다나 가기 매세나 가서 꼭거래 동해라 삼노단 동해 가니 용기도 동해 줘야 되랑기 짐바래 짐바들 lö시나 동해 요말 수 뒤와이나 랑이 셈라 뒤드도와 제자 랑 셈라 뒤용드데나라 랑기 강해암 착바지 제들 랑이 제와들 랑이 독바들 디잉아니 랑을 동해서 걸 랑이 제와다 독바 제와 나지 유티 띵라 도에 랑이 제와다 독바 체년데 가르스도 제사데 가르스도 찍다바 있나 오 부구자우스도 부 부구 중중지 지리라 톱쇼 제대로 지리 매우 말이 nga모리 얘네 양nga모데 제라 락바 잠시 대화 증마도 아니 세메베 대화 락이 말어와 디나지 가서기 미세기 톱쇼를 나야다 미세기 장에 나야다 대상말로라 고 세미 약보즈 삼노다나 소순 짐바칼 투도 셈디갈 셈디 제용나 동에 다 셈디 지야요 말이 유저 거레스들라네 딘디 치야메도와 데 아야
And so when we talk about suffering, there are very, very many types of suffering. And nobody likes suffering. We don't like suffering, the feelings of sufferings. Then we need to think how do the sufferings come about? It basically comes from our grasping. Now, all these causes and conditions where it sort of goes down to our mind, our attachments, our hope, our doubts, all of that was grasped by our mind and therefore bringing us suffering. But if you think carefully on the object that we have attachment or hope or doubts for, is it necessarily, does these things exist like how you have attached to it or how you have hope for it or how you have, have doubt of it? So when we observe carefully, we would actually come to an understanding that such grasping or attachment is like candies to a child. It may bring you short-term happiness, but definitely not the long-term or not the ultimate happiness. And there's a lot of happiness or unhappiness, good or bad, and so on of life. It is all sort of established or made by the grasping of our mind, and therefore creating lots of suffering. But if we think that, I'm going to sort of throw it away, can we do that? Or how do we do that?
세상 아주 짐바 지야지 세당 줘야 돼. 뭔가 세당을 가오미 뒤삼당에 맨세나 되기면도와 세당 라야디 하고 같이 세당 하고니卷통 베레즈랑 세당 지바이나 세당게 자와디 수체레 마리바 제기도와 딱 세당 라용디 되니 탁주 냠바 소소윤 중화 추와 매진 참말로와 녀크저야 대송자네 시럽 해줘 당기면 와. 시당 냠도 여비 시럽디 시당 왕주체네. 시럽디 눈바충주 차네. 친질로 시럽들이도 와. 시럽 친질로 조금 말해야다. 강다 시럽 양탁반이 듣고 시당 제와 인자네. 람상 시럽디 표주 당와이나 시당데 니믹스통 시당기 쩐통 시당이 안에 랑기 류축 용도 중앙축 마치와체 창라 통 타마니다 통 진장 쩌바 쇼 되니 응어 되니 레가 쇼 아니 수볼라 트레데 메바차 디 상마 수조랑 시당기 수기도와 오 시당데 제주면도 지하기 로데라 시럽세 시럽 디 배주 당와이나 시당 대주연 통와이나 쇠바 락삼 닝제 장대 저야디 배주 당와이로와 시럽 표도 중와 시럽 배주 당와이나
So about aversion and attachment, we can't just, these are the emotions that we don't like, but we can't just throw it away, throw it down the drain. We first need to know what it is. We need to see them as faults, and we need to know who brought it, who made the aversion or attachment. It is our very ignorance. So, for example, when we get angry or when we have aversion towards someone or something, our own elements goes into conflicts, and then we make ourselves and other people not happy. And basically, at those moments, the anger takes control over us, and that we are not able to apply our own wisdom, let alone people's wisdom. And so, when we actually could see the anger or the aversion arise, we need to see them at faults, and knowing that the anger brings us conflicts in the elements, makes us unhappy, and we get into trouble with others, we got into quarrel with others, we cry, we even lose our jobs. We are just not healthy. And therefore, then we understand that we should not be angry. We should not have aversion. And when you see that, that is the wisdom. And then by using that wisdom, that moment, then we can develop patience, we can develop honesty, we can develop pure intention, we can develop compassion. Yes.
시당 제사지 유대 랑신 주바지 아니 매와 하고 그 주제 망보즈를 뜨네 차대리마도 시당 제사 유대 축도바지 요 말에 시당 제년대양 축도바지 매와지 하고나 되네 시당 쉬브제고야면도 시장 동반이 줘야지 하고나 차당 매와줘야지도 차당 가장 당위로 쓰다 가장 차위로 쓰시 나도 강해서 그래
And then so we also need to understand that the object that which we have angry at does not have an inherent existence. And because of dependent origination, that the object is not independent or does not have an independent existence. And even the person who gets angry does not have an inherent existence. And therefore, there's no need for aversion. There's no need for anger. And that is why emptiness could diminish our attachments. And that when we have that, we don't need to, because the very strong attachment would only bring us suffering.
세상 가서 랑신게 셈 라야 돼 셈이 랑신 라야 돼 아니 셈 당마 셈 유설바 당마 아니 제와 침부 여봐 침바 님바 짜침부 yote zi redo wa rangji isemde.
The nature of our mind is the one with purity, with luminosity, and is endowed with unsurpassable compassion, omniscience, and capabilities.
계산 참아 최대한 가리나 셈 르르지. 아니 저랑 강이라 삼노 땅고 말에 르르지라기도 르르 제당데 가르르세나 랑기 착바 유당 랑기 땅외로 삼노노라 마지바 용야데 랑기 삼노 마보즈 땅데기도 와 가서 땅으로 창마이 셈마지바 요나 가르르 지엔제요레 지엔데 가래 랑기 아니 야마나 베 착바즈요레 야마나 짐바즈요레 랑이 착와 나진다 랑이 짐바 나지 지엔데 유데 사침부 시브레베스나 레메도와 오다 딘디 투르도와 야보다 레데 배추 지바점 마도 마도 이치 쳤습니다. 뭐보 뭐무직 세제레도와 잔죽이셈 라야다 돈이 따와서네 양탁바 로 친지 말로와 대당 아니 친지 말로위 따와다 친지 말로위 쪄바디 가서 이시 자식 자니 자통바 치토베도 가인세나 아니 심젠 탐지 랑젠 참제라 대바 바직데 톰니 코 쳔바이나 라나메바 임바 님바이나 라나메바 임바 세바이나 초리메바 라나메바 딘디데 템바트바 터자 메비 니수잉아네 딘디지 님바 연조텔라 이체 지야데 딱 개체주들이도와
And that's why you hear a lot of advice when it comes to a healthy mind is that to relax your mind, relax yourself, don't think of sufferings and so on. And well, what it basically goes down to is that towards the objects that we have great attachment to, or the mind that we have great anger with, that it does not exist as the way that we think that it exists, and that grasping at its inherent existence is what gives us suffering, is what gives us aversion. And then so to understand such is very precious. Now the objects, the mind that may perceive it with such could have good use from time to time. However, it is limited, and that is something that we should not entrust ourselves. So emptiness or exceptional supreme wisdom or unmistaken view would result in unmistaken behavior or conduct. And that is somewhere that we should entrust ourselves, because it would only give us happiness. It would only give us, not only us, but all sentient beings, happiness because of its unsurpassable compassion and wisdom and capabilities. And these compassion, wisdom, and capabilities is impartial, and it does not have inherent existence, and therefore non-grasping. Yes.
제당가서 남주인 초이 출라 아니 셈 강다 친지로비 로라야지 친지로 대바 항실라 시랍이여바디 오늘 전에 지 가르주고로 빼라지는 가서 내가 가르치와 있나 그 세신직라 친지로 대바 디기 세신직라 이시식도 와 친지로 대바 디기 가서 남바 산집이 취해지는 주와 있나 람상 몽대 제기로 와 람상 아니 대바지에 이시 친지로 로단데 아 대바제당 이지제당 아 장야 조라들이다 다 창기 중에 찍을라 삼노 창기 중에 찍을라 가서 이지스로도 와 삼노 창기 중에 디갈라 이지지야 디기 좀제 야부 튕기면도 와 제자 수수 심 거의 양부체네 뭐니지 오늘 심이랑 인데라 삼노 코와이나 최 탐지 띵중인 바 하고나 남바 산지비 최 되게 칸트 핑기도 내 잡수 drogo에 좀zen 가래샤 따와 띵중 레샤 tawa tinjung nisu ngane o tawa tinjung ina dene ngone chane chö tamji junre yin namja tezu tsangmalo tinjung ngane jungwa mada teni jungwa re mado rawa meba turza meba zik nisu ngane resha semi rangjin di 아니 추이 랑지디 하고서 와이나 타르발라기도와 동일 용수소베 타르바지 랑지디 하고서나 남바 산지비 추이 랑지디 가르송도 추이 랑지 따와 띵중 라용도 좀전데 짜치무 쉬우드 송도와 근데 줘봐 제바 메바 라디 남바 산지비 추이데 가르핑도 저차 가르레샤 데부 가르레샤 군주 숨 라야디 가르시 중도 군주 숨 코라 용당 가르레샤 칸드즈를 군주 숨 라게도 디 nga dan dewa kharido nge lunga yisumla nge yiche kandis chewore dendes pa mandro na lama cha chimo re deni che re che cha chimo re ni re lamne nga so hale hole yabe yobe si chimba ina ani nge lama chikza ne wang shuba yi ta nga kandyon gejo mambu zi yo ani wang yu cha ne nge di kandyon ma cheba ina nyewa dogre ani chikla ne drupdap drawazi tön zik chewa ina drupdap di nola jerimda zogrim indo kawre lamrim indo kawre lojong indo kawre di tönda tezo ha mago an susu yi ma dön deya tsamzik ma to ha mago wa ina ani kale ne susu le ichi mewa cha pendo mewa cha de susu re ma to chue di kesha re me doa 제상 당번이 거 취디 약부 이시다 가지고 총 잡아 있는다 내가 잡아 가르치 잡아 있는다 곰바 빼봐 있는 당보 대보도 있다 그러와 니 곰바 당보 보사 님아 보살라 가서 디 디기도 있다 그러와 디 난신 취지나 수수 켈래야라 취디 짜치 뭐 가르도 약보 산나다나 전주기 셈 돈이 따와라야 디오다 디다 취 켈래롱 말레롱 동해 만되어지다 대화 되어지 용수 쪽발라 페야레샤 동해기 짜와 매버서이 탑 딘디 짜쳐버지도 내 인자네 샘지 그 동해 가기 말에 동해기 짜와 매버쳐봐이 탑 줍탑 아니 수수기 감다 매버참베 로 림베찬네 로 가서 부구나 이신데 로 림베야 타 승네 대차 시당了 콤비 로데 뇽르 땅에 계셔리다 데마도 양로 로가지 계셔 말 nga shira nga 장기메 nga 추에 뭐 장기메 nga 롭종 뭐 지기메 nga 착진 고 적진 고 시기도 빼자지 뭐 알라마 뒤주지 뭐 롭종 shira 지고 말하다 착진 적진 지지지 뭐 즉 숨기도 삽삽 마시나 가서 고고 그래 가서 뉴모 작바 방시 동네 작바 마 매바 제시 제바이나 매바 제답대 가시 동네 존인데 셈인바당 셈 맞추베데 하고 셈 추바 하고나 니주 다데리 셈 칸이 로와이나 이나야 제 마보지 되고 인자네 다 망쳤대
So then we usually follow a mistaken mind. And then on that, we sort of utilize the wisdom that is coming from this mistaken mind, and therefore it becomes very limited. And then if we go on the path, the dharmic path, this way, then the sort of faith that we sort of develop becomes blind faith. And then so if we sort of practice our dharma or embark our dharmic path with this kind of faith and trust with a lot of attachments, then we won't end up having a good results. And only if we know about dependent origination, And we need to know, and then only when we know about why we need to take refuge and why the view of dependent origination is important, then we will understand the importance of cause and results. We would come to see the significance of seeing things without a solid existence, seeing things without an independent existence. And that if we know the nature of the mind, if we know the nature of all phenomena, then that is what we call liberation. That is liberation from all sufferings. And then we would also understand why the view of dependent origination is important. Would also cherish the conduct of nonviolence very much. We need to understand the importance of the three jewels, how the three jewels come about, and why does it matter to us? How do they relate to our three doors? And how should we trust? Why should we trust them and how? If not, we just go about our belief very randomly, thinking that, oh, I've received an empowerment now. I have met this Lama and that Lama. And, then because I received this empowerment or that, and I have commitment now. And because I have that, if I don't practice, or if I don't keep the commitment, I'm gonna go to hell. So then I have to practice. Then that is not how we should practice Dharma. That is not meaningful. And if we go the path that way, very slowly or gradually, we will lose our trust, our belief in Dharma altogether. We need to know what to abandon and what to accomplish. Just like before you do a business, you start up a business, or even when you go to before you do research, you need to know the pros and cons of such and such, why and what is important. And in this case, bodhicitta and emptiness, no matter whether or not, bodhicitta and emptiness can bring us happiness and can diminish our suffering. And not because we all want suffering, we all want happiness and do not want suffering. And that is what we need to pursue, to achieve, to attain. And then the next is we need to know the way to acquire happiness and to abandon suffering sequentially. And if we do so step by step, then we will we'll be able to diminish our anger and attachments. If you think that, oh, this is something very basic and I don't need something basic, I don't want to study, I just want to go straight to Chakchen Dzogchen, the great perfection, or the Mahamudra, that is the only thing that I want to practice, then that's deceiving. You're just deceiving yourself. So with regards to sufferings, we need to abandon them gradually. And then we need to know about our mind more. We need to know how the mind gets into confusion, and we need to know how to abandon sufferings. That's all.
라소 드니 드즈데 데서 로체이스레 건다 양양장 가서 쏘고 단다 주든지 마 죽으러
So we've gone over time.
와물람 주 마겐 셈젠 탐지 탈뚝 산지지 공부를 무신 토비치에도 잠불리 네묵 특수 시바당 아니 템바 진종 베슴 제년지 덴진지 지부탐바 고세 덴지진지에 체도 와물람 주 Jambe boy chidare jimbandang kundu zambo te antejen den teda kunji jesu dalu kewan deda tamje rabdu ngo tusum shibi java tamje ji ngowa ganla chudo ngaba dajin gebe zawan digunja zambo chiji rab ngowa chi chanju simjo rimbo je maje bana je 제와 냠바 메바양 코네 콘도 페바레쇼